because many people don't get the chance of having this book. It's quite rare. So today I'll read this book. I Had Trouble Getting to SOLLA SOLLEW by Dr. Seuss. There's a little horse picture. Have a look at the front cover. Okay. I had trouble getting to SOLLA SOLLEW. I had trouble getting to SOLLA SOLLEW. I was once happy and careful and young and lived in a place called the Valley of Vung. And nothing ever went wrong until one day I was walking along and I guess not careless, I got walking at daisies and not looking where I was walking. And that's how it started. Shock. What a shock. I stumbled my big toe on a very hard rock and I flew through the air and I went for a sail. And I sprained the main bone in the tip of my tail. Now, I never had troubles before. So I said to myself, I don't want any more. If I watch out for rocks with my eyes straight ahead, I'll keep out of trouble forever, I said. But watching ahead, well, it just didn't work. I was watching those rocks when I felt a hard jerk. A very fresh, green-headed quail sneaked up from the back and went after my tail. And I learned there are troubles of more than one kind. Some come from ahead and some come from behind. So I said to myself, now I'll just have to start to be twice as careful and be twice as smart. I'll watch out for troubles in front and in back. Second trees. By moving my eyeballs in different directions. I found this to be quite a difficult stunt. But now I was safe, both behind and in front. The near troubles came from above and below. A stirk at my neck and a stirk at my toe. And now I was really in trouble, you know. The rocks, the quail, and the stirk. I had so many troubles, I just couldn't think. There I was, all completely surrounded by trouble, when a champ rumbled up in a one-wheel wobber. Young fellow, he said, what has happened to you? Has happened to me and to other folks too. So I'll tell you what I have decided to do. I'm off to the city of SOLLA SOLLEW, on the banks of the beautiful river Wahoo, where they never have troubles, at least very few. It's not very far, and my camel is strong. He'll get us there fast, so hop on, come along. I jumped up behind him, and then all through the day, the wumble wumble on a wumbly some way. On the road got more bumpy, more rocky, more tricky. By midnight, I'll tell you, my stomach felt icky. And so I said, Mister, please, when do we get to that wonderful town? Are we almost there yet, young fellow? He told me, don't get in a stew and surprise. We'll drive into SOLLA SOLLEW as you'll have no more troubles, I promise I do. But when dawn finally came and darkness got light, what wonderful city was nowhere in sight. Instead of the city, we ran into troubles. Our camel was sick and he started to bubble. We had to pull him in one willow wobble. So there we were in a dreadful position. Our camel now needed a camel physician. Now doctors for camels are not often seen, especially on mountains. They're far between, but we pulled that old robber and set out to find some doctors while dragging our camel behind. I pulled and pulled. Then the next thing I knew, I was pulling the camel and the wobble chat too. Now really, I thought this was rather unfair. But he said, don't you fuss, I'm doing my share. This is called teamwork. I finished the brains, you finish the muscles, the ache and the pains. I'll pick the best roads, tell you just where to go, and we'll find a good doctor more quickly, you know. Then he sat and he worked with his brain and his tongue, and boasted me around just because I was young. He told me to go left, he told me to go right, and that's what he told me all day, all night, all day and all night. Next morning, we located Mr. Sam Smell, who knew all about tons and camels and well. Our camel, he said, had a bad case of gleeks and should lie flat in the bed for at least 20 weeks. I was tired. I wanted to crawl in that bed, but the wobble chap sent me away, and he said, "Your troubles are practically at the end. Just run down that hill and around the bend, and you'll come to the happy way bus road. My friend, the happy way bus road leaves at 4:42, and we'll take you directly to SOLLA SOLLEW, on the banks of the beautiful river Wahoo, where they never had troubles, at least very few." Well, the bus stop was there, and the path was just fine, but tackle on a stick was very small sign saying, "Notice to passengers using our line. We are sorry to say that our driver Munchbella ran off for full nails and has punctured all chair. So until further notice, the 14.4.22 cannot possibly take you to SOLLA SOLLEW." but I wish could wish you most pleasant journey by feet. Sign. But flying pursue horse pea sweet. So I went on my feet. Thank you to horse pea sweet. And that horse pea sweet almost ruined my feet. Another miles later, my feet were so sore, then wouldn't you know it, it started to pour. I was dripping to the skin when a champ slicker splashed and yelled, "It's the Mitchman Tricker. The Mitchman Tricker came only this year, and it's not going to be very comfortable around here." And before we'd get out, so I packed my things, and I'm ready to off to my granddad's. Out in Palm Springs, take cover, he yelled. Use my house if you wish. Then the champ in the sticker splashed off like a fish. I ran in the house and fell in a heap. I needed my rest, but I just couldn't sleep. Did you ever sleep when your feet were like ice? With a family of owls and a family of mice? I listened all night to the growl and the growls and the chatting teeth of those mice and those owls, while the mule jiggled how horribly house. I tossed and flipped and flopped and flipped. It was 5:15 when I finally slept. Then I dreamed I was sleeping on billow of soft silk and strand marshmallows, stuffing pillows. I dreamed I was sleeping in SOLLA SOLLEW on the banks of the beautiful river Wahoo, where they never had troubles, at least very few. When I woke up, it just wasn't true. I was crashing downhill in a bubble flood with screws in my eyes and my mouth full of mud and my nose full of water, my ears full of shriek of the owls flying with the mouses on their beaks. And so I said to myself, now I really don't see why troubles like this have to happen to me. Became position. I floated 12 days without fishes or soap. I practically almost had given up hope, when someone high up shouted, "Here, catch the rope." Then I knew that my troubles had come to an end, and I climbed up the rope, shouting, "Thank you, my friend." I got out to the top, but it wasn't a friend. I saw that my troubles were not at an end. A big man on a horse scared at me out of my risk. He bellowed, "I'm Genghis Khan's mission." Oh, how good. There's a war going on, and it's time that you knew. Every lad in this land has a duty to do. We're matching a battle. We need you, my boy. We're about to attack. We're about to destroy the Pralisa Puza of Purnola Pass. So we get into the line. You are private first class. private first class. He gave me a tutor and 1 little bean, which was not very much, if you see what I mean. Then he yelled, "Not that Pooza, attack without fear. The general moment of victory is near." And the glossary growl in the adventures with a glory wish of his sword and his lance, and a glory shank of his painted pants. When we went out a corner and found that at last there was more than one Pooza, a promise passed, and Jungle Musician shouted to his men, "This happens in every now and again. Sometimes you are winners, sometimes you are losers. We can win against so many Poozas." And so I struggled that it's time to retreat, and the army raced off in Tin's pan feet. There I was, with more Poozas than I ever seen. There I was, with my shooter and only 1 bean. There I was, and I thought I will never get through to the wonderful city of SOLLA SOLLEW, on the banks of the beautiful river Woohoo. There they never had troubles, at least very few. I had terribly troubles in staying alive. Then I saw an old pipe that said, "Vent number 5. I didn't have time to find out what that means, but the vent had a hole, and the hole where I went. Well, that vent where I went was sort of a funnel that led me down into a frightening black tunnel. The tunnel track down was a mess. I must say, with billions of birds, I'm going all the wrong way. They bumped me with bikes, and they bangled me with dishes. I ran into ladders, beds, bottles, and fishes. I slided on rubbishes, fell in the horn. Troubles I wish had never been born. I was down there 3 days in that bird-feared up place. At least 8,000 times I felt snack on my face. I injured 3 finger bones, thumbs, and bone lips. Shine on my backbone, my wishbone, my hips. What more? I was starving, and I had nothing to eat, and damp. Was it damp? I grew moss on my feet. Just when I thought I couldn't stand it no more, by chance I discovered a teeny trapdoor I popped my head out, and the great sky was the sky blue, and I knew from the flowers I'd finally come through to the banks of the beautiful river Wahoo. I couldn't be far now from SOLLA SOLLEW. There it was, with its glittering towers in the air. I made it. Done it at last. At last. I was there, and I knew that I'd left my troubles behind when a tramp at the doorway was shimmering and shimmering. Waved me a wave and was very friendly and kind. Welcome, he said as he waved me his hand. Welcome, my son, to this beautiful land. Welcome to sweet sunny SOLLA SOLLEW, where we never have troubles, at least very few. A matter of fact, we had only just one little trouble, my son, and this is one little trouble. And now you will see, in this one little trouble, I have this key. There is only one door into SOLLA SOLLEW, and we have a key slapping slipper we do. This trouble slipper moved into my door 2 weeks ago, Thursday at 3:45. Since I can't kill the skipper, it was very bad luck to kill any skipper. And that's why we struck, and no one gets in, and the town goes to pot. It's a troubling state of it is not. And so, said the doorman of SOLLA SOLLEW, my job at the door here is finished. I'm through. And I'll tell you what I have decided to do. I'm leaving, he said, leaving SOLLA SOLLEW. On the banks of the beautiful river Wahoo, where we never have troubles, at least very few, and off to the city of Bola Babo. On the banks of the beautiful river Wahoo, where they never have troubles, no troubles at all. Come along with me, he said as he ran, and you'll never have any more troubles, young man. I have no more troubles, that's what the man said. So I started to go, but I didn't instead. I did some quick thinking inside of my head. Then I stared back onto the valley of Vang, and I have troubles. I'll maybe get stung. I'll always have troubles. I'll maybe get bitten by that green-headed crow. On the place where I sit. But I've bought a big bat, and I'm ready to see now that my troubles are going to have troubles with me. Thank you for watching that.
Dr. Seuss.
Really good.